beside my son. His laptop was open, and he was playing Minecraft on a public server. Messages scrolled quickly down the chat box, and his eyes stayed glued to the screen. I asked him to pause for a moment. With a sigh, he logged out, closed the laptop, and looked at me. "Dad," he said, "is this going to be another one of your cheesy, scary stories?" I put a hand on my chest and pretended to be hurt. Then I smiled and told him that he used to love my stories. When he was younger, I told him tales about ghosts, trolls, and witches to teach him lessons about being careful. He shrugged and said that those stories were fine when he was 6, but now he was 10, and they weren't scary anymore. Then he leaned back and crossed his arms. "If you're going to tell me an internet story," he said, "make it really scary. I can handle it." I raised my eyebrows and asked if he was sure. He nodded without hesitation. So I began. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Colby. Colby loved online games. He joined children's websites, chatted on forums, and made new friends almost every week. One day, he met another boy online who called himself Helper 23. He said he was 10 years old, just like Colby. They played the same games, laughed at the same jokes, and spent hours online together. After a few months, they felt like best friends. One evening, while playing Minecraft, Colby gave Helper 23 6 diamonds. It was a generous gift. Not long after, Colby's birthday was coming up, and Helper 23 asked if he could send him a present in real life. All he needed was Colby's home address. At first, Colby wasn't sure, but then Helper 23 promised not to tell anyone, not even his parents. Finally, Colby gave him the address. I stopped my story and asked my son, "Do you think that was smart?" He shook his head quickly. In spite of himself, he was hooked. I nodded and kept going. That night, Colby felt nervous and guilty. The thought of what he had done kept growing inside him. He decided he would confess to his parents. The punishment might be harsh, but it was better than keeping a terrible secret. He lay in bed listening to the sounds of the house, the washing machine thumping in the laundry room, branches scratching against the windows, his baby brother making soft sounds in the nursery. Then he heard footsteps coming down the hallway. "Dad?" Colby called nervously. "I need to tell you something." His father's head appeared in the doorway, but something about it was wrong. His mouth didn't move properly, and his eyes looked dark and empty. "Yes, son?" the voice said, though it didn't sound quite right. Colby pulled the blanket up to his chin. "Dad, are you okay?" he whispered. His father's voice came back in a strange sing-song tone. Then another head popped into the doorway. His mom. But her smile was stiff and unnatural, and her voice was high and sharp. "You should never have given out our address," she scolded. "Helper 23 wasn't really a kid. He tricked you. He broke in and killed us both." A heavy man in a wet jacket stepped into the room. In his hands were 2 severed heads. He dropped them onto the floor. It was Colby's parents. Slowly, the man drew out a long knife and stepped closer to the bed. Colby screamed as the figure loomed over him. Hours passed. Colby's screams grew weaker. Then from another room, the sound of a crying baby filled the house. The man turned his head and smiled. He walked down the hallway to the nursery, picked up the baby, and held him in his arms. To his surprise, the child stopped crying and smiled back at him. The man's bloody hands wiped on the blanket so he could gently stroke the baby's cheek. "Hello, little one," he whispered softly. Instead of hurting him, the man carried the baby away and named him William. When I finished, my son's face was pale. His lips trembled as he whispered, "But Dad, my name is William." I winked at him and patted his head. "Of course it is, son." He ran upstairs in tears, but I knew he would never forget